What is going on, everybody? This is Dan from DanMotoMusic, and today we're going to be learning about how to have tabs work in your favor to help you become a better player instead of hinder you and you don't get better at all. This is a very common thing that happens. So go ahead and grab your acoustic or electric and let's get started. Okay guys, so tabs are really good as a visual aid to help you learn chords, solos, anything like that. However, the problem I've seen a lot of people go down is the path of always needing tabs for everything, even if you're an advanced player. I see on so many people in comments of other videos from other people, where's the tabs? Where's the tabs? This is when you know you need to get off tabs. And the reason for that is, as a beginner, you want to be using tabs a lot. As an intermediate, not as much. And as an advanced, you want to be using it to check your work, and that's how we're going to detail this video. So let's start off with the beginner. If you're first, and actually I should start off here. If you want to just learn to play songs and you want to just have fun, maybe just do a couple shows here and there, and you're happy with using tabs to learn songs, great. Don't change that at all. That's not what this is about. If you want to become a badass or a really good player, you're going to want to start changing how you look at how you use tabs. So as a beginner, use tabs for everything you can get your hands on. It doesn't even matter if it's right. If it's challenging for you in a way that you can grow from it, use it. Now, of course, you want to try to find tabs that are as accurate as possible, but you may even realize, even if you have accurate tabs, you're not well equipped as a player to play that song, and that's okay. You may grab the chords from the song. You may grab a piece of the solo, a piece of a riff. Grab onto it and learn it and utilize it to become better. Now, over time, you're going to want to start changing how you look at tabs. So, as a beginner, if you see a solo or a chord progression or a riff, you want to use tabs in a way where you divide the parts into chunks more. Usually on a tab, sometimes they'll have lines that separate individual parts. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they put it into measures. You want to go ahead and find a place point on the tab and draw a line through it and chunk it out. You're going to chunk it out in a way where it's easier for you to digest. That doesn't mean you take a whole solo. You can break it into 4 sections. If there's 16 notes and every 4 notes feels like it's a pause, or maybe you see a common note that happens every 4 notes, you can put that as a stopping point and learn those first 4 notes and internalize them. As a beginner, you're probably going to be using more memory and reflex playing instead of your brain, as far as like thinking ahead and how this works in scales. And that's okay, because as a beginner, you have to start somewhere, and you have to probably start with memorizing what fret do I go to, what was the next fret, this and that. That's why by chunking it out into smaller sections where maybe it feels more of a natural pause, maybe not the whole riff, but maybe I can get these first 4 notes and then I can put a pause here and just work those notes first. That's going to help you more than I'm going to learn all 16 because that's the order. You may want to learn on Monday 4 notes from part 1. And if you chuck it into 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. The second day, you'll learn part 2. And if you're not ready, do part 1 again. When you feel good about part 1, start part 2 and then start connecting them after. Meaning, you'll do part 1 for however many days you need. Then you'll do part 2 separate, and you'll still keep playing part 1, keep it refreshed. And then once you feel good about part 2, you start putting them together, part 1 and 2 together. Then you'll do 3 by itself and keep refreshing 1 and 2. Put 1, 2, 3 together. Then of course you can add 4 by itself and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This may take you a week, it may take you a month. Everyone has a different learning speed, and you should be okay with that, because the more you practice and the more you play, the faster you're going to get at learning stuff and memorizing stuff. Another way you could break it down is if you already have 1 and 2 done, you can start working 3 by itself, then 4 by itself, then put 3 and 4 together. Then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you could put 1, 2, 3, 4 together, and that may be better. There's no right rule except what works for you of how to put something together. Now, if you're already, let's now move into the intermediate level. If you're an intermediate player, I'm going to get my notes out because I don't want to get these things confused. I use notes too, guys. So as an intermediate player, you're probably going to be already learning scales and chord progressions, and you're probably going to be able to identify like open chords like a C major, a G major, a D major, E major, maybe E minor, things like that, these open chord area positions. And you may also start learning some basic rhythm strums like this. Now, that's all good and important. The idea though is the way you want to start using tabs now as an intermediate is you're still going to be using them as a visual aid. You're still going to be using them to break them into smaller chunks and stuff like that. But you want to start learning your scales. Your pentatonic scales, minor positions are really good to start off with. You may start learning all 5 of those. You may not. You may just learn one position. That's fine. You may also learn your major and minor scales. You may learn more about chord progressions and how they work. Things like that. So when you start seeing guitar tabs, you're going to start to realize, well, I can connect the dots more on my own now instead of memorizing the number system of a song. Because remember, guys, there's no 2 songs that are the same. So all that memory, once you learn the song and you move on, you're going to kind of forget things because you started a different song and you memorized it instead of understanding the song or understanding the scale that's in the song or the chord progression, maybe a 1, 4, 5 chord progression. That's a lot easier to remember. Oh, it's a 1, 4, 5 progression instead of it's a C, F, and G progression because, oh, well, that's the same thing. And if you don't know what that means, that's okay. You can always Google that. I'll make another video on that one day. Just leave me a comment and we'll get that going. But the idea as an intermediate player is you want to be able to see the scales inside the solos that you're using. You want to be able to see the patterns inside those scales and solos, and then also chord progressions, like I said. So what does all this mean? So if you're an intermediate and you're learning, let's say, oh, I know my minor position 1 pentatonic. Well, you could see that as knowing that I have a specific pattern of fingering. And unfortunately, guys, that is something you do have to memorize. But once it's memorized, you want to start to see this as a pattern of notes. And what does that mean? Well, I got a 1, 4 and a 1, 4 and a 1, 4 here, and then I got some 1, 3s. Even if you were to change your fingering, you can still see this as a shape. And that is super important because as a shape, this shape, it doesn't change. The fingering could change, but the shape will never change. And that's huge because if you could see that pattern inside the scale, inside the solo, you're going to be able to memorize that solo a lot easier because you can see other things that are attached to it besides just a number system. Okay? Now, once you do that for a while, you'll start to get better and you start to develop an ear, and this takes you more towards the advanced stuff. So as an advanced player, let me get that out. As an advanced player, you're going to be using tabs a lot less because you're going to be relying on other things you have. More patterns, more scales, more what key you're in. Okay? You're also going to be using more of your ear. You may be able to tell, oh, without looking, you can hear this. You can tell that is a minor. In that case, I use minor major pentatonic scale. We'll worry about that another day. But you can hear it more. You can develop how sounds are. Like if I play it open position C, the way those notes ring is different from a closed position C over here. Listen to the differences. This one has more sustain. This one doesn't. You can also hear they have different timbre. So things like that is what's going to make you more an advanced player. Now, let's see what else we got. You may also know a cage system for chords instead of just your open chords. The cage system helps you use chords all over the fretboard, so you may be able to identify more of what they're doing on a fretboard. If you're watching somebody play live, you'll be like, oh, I know that chord because I learned it in the cage system. Or you'll start to identify things differently. Also, as an advanced player, you'll be starting, since you're using your ear, you're learning patterns and things like that, you'll use tabs to identify if it's right or wrong. I don't know if I already said that earlier, but that's the truth. You could check your work more instead of relying on tabs to help you learn. You'll use them, just to check your work to make sure you're on the right track to learning the song on your own. Now, I'm not always saying that you have to do it that way, but before I get into that, let me just make sure I got everything for advanced. Yeah. Check, still be developing, yep, bigger solos, yeah. So like I said, by the advanced level, you're gonna just be utilizing tabs different because you're relying on more of a system that you understand, patterns, scales, progressions, instead of a memorization process. And memory, as we know, memory tends to change over time. You like, is this how it goes or is that? You'll instead memorize patterns and scales, and then you'll utilize that to see shapes and patterns and common things that happen in songs. Things repeat, how they're played. It's all very common. Music is a bunch of things that has repeats in it no matter what. So you'll use that. And eventually you'll start to grow into the player where you don't need tabs anymore, except maybe to check your work, or if you need to learn a song quicker than you can learn by ear. Like, let's say if you have a show that's coming up and like, hey, you know what, we had a song change, we need this learned in a day. If you can do that, I've been hired like that, guys, like where people are like, hey, I need something done real quick, can you do it? Yeah, sure. I'll usually rely on my ear first, and then I'll check my work with a tab, or I'll go online and I'll see a guy do a cover. I might look at two guys. I'm a teacher, guys. I'm not afraid to say that, hey, you know what, I've been in a pinch and I've cheated, or if you want to say that, I've used tabs or a cover or somebody playing it and learned it quickly and made it my version. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't rely on tabs to get me out of sticky situations every single time. I've taken the time, because I'm before the YouTube era, man. I'm pushing 40. So I'm before that, where you just sat in a room with the tape and you waited for the radio to come on and play the song, and then you record it and then you learn it. I also was the type to go to friends' houses and we'd exchange riffs or ideas, things like that. So most people nowadays learn online, and a lot of people get stuck relying on the tab. And that's where things go wrong, is because tablature is a great tool to help you learn the frets quick, what strings. It's not a great tool to teach you how to bend, how to add feel to songs, how to add expression, how to do anything else besides what fret, what string. And then even that's not correct, because anybody, little Johnny, could go online and throw a tab online and then you learn it wrong. So developing your ear, developing a style, developing takes years. But if you're hindering yourself by using a tab every time, you're never going to get past a certain level. So I hope this video helps you as far as a guide to how to get better. If you need me to elaborate more on any of these parts, let me know. I am a guitar instructor. I am a piano teacher as well. I teach music composition. I teach music theory, guys. If you need any help with that at all, look in the description. You can find how to get a hold of me, and we could set you up with some lessons of any kind you need. Thank you for watching this guitar lesson video, and I'll see you on the next one.